Computer. Yeah. Okay, so if you say you're making up stories, that means you're not telling the truth. It means you're lying. So that connotation is there with stories and storytelling. Um, Stories we know can be an escape from reality, but they can also get to the heart of things. So you never know if a story is just going to be escape or it's going to turn out that it's serious business. But play, when we first think of play, it's just play. And actually, play is studied in the department that I got my PhD in, Department of Folklore, University of Pennsylvania. There was a lot of talk about the study of play, the ethnography of play, the definition of play. It turns out play, three definitions of it are it's just for fun. It's not for any material benefit. It's in a limited time and place, right? Because somebody will also always tell you, this is not the time to play. This is not the place to play. So it has to be a safe environment where your bodily needs for shelter and food are taken care of, and then you can play. And most of all, it has to be fun. If it's not fun, it's not play, right? So as you're making up stories, try to be playful about it. Um, Sometimes we make up stories to especially children. They'll tell what they wished had happened instead of what happened. And sometimes it seems they don't even know the difference between what happened and what they wished happened, right? Very young ones. They'll just go on and on about how this, and you don't know if it really happened or not. And they might not know if it really happened or not. So, so all these things are there. There are two parts of play. This is what we learned in the department, folklore department. Uh, Two types of play are art, which includes stories and storytelling, and games. Games is also play, but in games there's competition, and there's a winner and a loser. Um, okay, but play and stories can be a model of the past, and they can be a model for the future. And this is where it begins to get serious. If you present a story, wait, I'm gonna mute everybody for the moment. If you present a story, you're um, you're presenting a way of behavior, and along the way, you're probably indicating if you feel it's a good way to behave or not a good way to behave. So that kind of story, that aspect of story is gets a little serious because we naturally make a judgment when we're telling a story or we're creating a story about about uh, what's going on in the story. So this is just scattered thoughts about making up stories, making up stories. Uh, as I say, part of it is just wishing something would be true. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be wonderful if something was true? And in a moment, I'm going to begin to play that recording I drew your attention to. Um, One very popular way of making up stories is to start with something that happened in your own life that really happened and project it onto an external character and change it. Because why should we be limited in our imagination just for fun to what really happened? You might want to, just for fun, change it. Uh, Oh, and then there's the topic of white lies. Do you know the expression white lies? A white lie is a story. It's like you changed, you don't really tell what happened because either you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or it somehow it would not be beneficial if you told the whole truth. Would not be beneficial to you or to somebody else. So you lie a little bit, not for your benefit, but for the sake of your listener, or maybe for the sake of yourself. Hmm? So white lies is also fictional storytelling. Okay, any responses while I've been talking about this for the last few minutes? Any have any thoughts come to your mind that you might share with the group? And we are recording now, just for Anjana and Anjira who can't be here. Um, I believe everyone else is here. Yeah. So any thoughts come to mind that you might like to share?
Um, for me, it was about taking some incident that happened in your life or around you, and then making up a story using that as the springboard in a certain way. Um, so I just attended a storytelling meetup where we heard stories about trees, and I was asking the group about for some help, because we had an incident where one of our neighbors lost the father of the dad passed away because the family was at a local park, and a branch came tumbling down, and the dad tried to push the child, and it fell on his head, and he passed away.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
that has somehow changed the fate. I mean, of course, my children are grieving for the loss of their friend's dad, but at the same time, they're so scared of trees at the moment. They don't want to go anywhere near a tree or play under a tree. I
Mhm.
think more or less the entire community near us is, and sort of, I think that, and I didn't know how to use that to make a story, or to explain to my children that it is okay not to fear. And I think this incident and you're telling that taking incident and merging it into a story has now at this moment suddenly given me a spark to create a story out of it about a tree who had a hole in him, and he thought that he was ugly probably, and he didn't want to show it to anybody, and he pushed away anyone who came near him. And that could be
Mhm.
one of those incidents where he was very angry and he pushed away people and everybody
Mhm.
until something happened. Maybe a group of birds came into this hollow and started singing, and all of that changed the tree probably, and
Mhm.
so
Well,
it,
what
it
you're
those are the thoughts
describing.
that
Uh-huh. You're
on the
describing
spot.
you're describing a technique called personification.
Uh-huh,
So you would personify the tree. You would
uh-huh.
pretend that the tree had human consciousness and human language ability, and so you'd make the tree into a character.
Yeah, and I think even half an hour back I didn't have that story in my head, but now that, and I asked for help from those group of people as to how do I deal with this incident to make sure that my children are not scared of being under a tree or climbing it.
Mhm.
And I think I found my story or my answer just now when you were
You
talking
can
about this.
you can even invite your listeners to talk to the tree. After
Mm,
you tell a story in the festival coming up in February, after
mm,
people tell a story to children,
mm,
they're going to lead the children in an activity.
mm-hmm,
Some of it will be drawing pictures, but I will recommend that to consider the activity of inviting the children to choose a character in the story they'd like to talk to.
mm-hmm,
Either ask them a question or tell them something, and
mm-hmm,
then somebody has to play the character. The storyteller could play the character, or one of the other listeners could play the character,
mm-hmm.
and then they can role play. They can, you
But
know.
but but primarily, does this connect, or is this a technique that you're talking about that I can use to make my made up stories that we are doing, which will be our next storytelling theme,
Yes,
basically?
this personification, you can use it as you make up the story, and then you can also use it after you tell the story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, to make up the story, just have a conversation with the tree. And in your imagination, imagine what the tree would say.
Mm-hmm.
what does the tree have to say for herself after one of her branches killed somebody's father? She'll probably say, "Gee, it wasn't my fault. I didn't mean it." But find out in your imagination what the tree wants to say.
I mean, in my imagination, it was probably just grumpy, didn't realize that it would cause that
Uh-huh.
assumption, and it happened, and it kept happening over and over again until at some point something
Mhm.
happened in its life, and it changed the tree to become more kind and inviting, something like that. Okay.
Okay, so this is an example of taking a real life incident and
Uh-huh.
um, and
Create.
spinning a fantasy about it by personifying the tree and seeing the whole thing from the tree's point of view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that works. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so now let me play this video that I made, and a wonderful way to work with to give a presentation is to read some notes and then have a discussion about the notes, or play some video and have some discussion about the video. So here I go. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be sure to click share sound and share. And okay, I I need to write this down sometime soon, and I will. But for now, I only have it in this video. By the way, I'm kind of in the Stone Age in various ways. When I have a recording that I want to, now you can see me now, and you can also see the recording of me, right? So two Erics. Um, there's a company that I've worked with, which I send them a video recording of me giving a talk, and they transcribe it. I say I'm in the Stone Age because I know probably you can do that for free on the internet, right? You can have the artificial intelligence or something transcribe a video, but I still pay a small amount to a company to do it for me, and I'm going to do something like that. Maybe not.
Uploading it on video on YouTube doesn't transcribe it automatically.
It
Did you see
says
how?
on the bottom there, see transcription, but I never see the transcription.
No, you've got to just click the transcription below, and then
Ah,
you.
okay. I'll try that. I'll try
I
that. Anyway, here, let's listen to Eric Miller for a couple of minutes. Yes. So here are some ideas about different ways to create a story. You might review your life story and the important episode in your life story that you told about, and see if there's any issue in your life story, any social issues, as a woman, as a man, as a Tamilian, as an Indian, whatever groups you're in. See if there are any issues in your personal experience that you might like to make a story out of. In other words, you can take elements from your experience and create a character, create a situation that will involve some of those situations, but in a different way. So then you can say that the fictional story is based on or inspired by some personal experience. I mentioned when I told my life story, you can see me, you can hear me? Yeah. I cannot see the live image of myself now, but I'm glad that you can. I mentioned I had a sister who fell off a roof 50 years ago. And then when I saw one of the Spider-Man movies, I can even find it. I'll show it to you later. The young lady is on a ledge high up on a building, and the wall crumbles, and she's falling. But Spider-Man swings in and catches her. Does anyone remember that scene? It's a memorable little scene, right? Yeah, so when I saw that, I thought, oh, wow, it would have been great if I could have caught my sister like that. So that was not a story that I made up, But when I saw it, I kind of latched onto it. So that's an example of a fantasy story that you know, it's a it's a wish story. Okay, let's keep going. You might also review some of the favorite stories of your favorite stories, including stories that you've told in the last 6 months, uh, and take an element from one of those stories. You might want to change the character. If it was a story about animals, you might make it a story about humans. If it was a story about humans, you might make it a story about animals. And of course, you can change the time period. But just scan your memory and your feelings about what issues, what questions, what situations are most interesting to you. So I saw the other day a journalist was saying the advice he gives to young journalists is when you wake up in the morning, when you wake up, what are you angry about? What are you happy about? You know, what annoys you? And those are situations. The difference, as I'm fond of saying lately, the difference between giving a speech or writing an essay and creating a story is both have situations, and it might be a social situation. But the difference is a story, you have to have a character who's in that situation, who faces that situation. And we want to see what happens. How does the character handle that situation? So if you have any social issues in mind, if you're worried about how society is going, uh, put your character in that situation and see how the character handles it in your imagination. Okay, I'll go back to the video. What relationships are most interesting? Parent-child, brother-sister, husband-wife, friend-friend. You know, many writers develop a favorite type of relationship that they like to create stories about. Early on, we did an exercise of scan your memory to a situation, something that happened that was interesting, that was unusual, that was remarkable. You might try that a few times, not once, try it a few times on different days. Something that happened in the last few days. You know, sometimes when I do that activity, people come up with an incident that happened 20 years ago that they're still thinking about. So you can take something that happened, and again, you can change it, you can modify it to bring out the point that you want to bring out. Now I'm going to tell you two activities that can help you access your unconscious. One is called active imagination. Okay, this is active imagination. I forget exactly if I did it slowly and in detail. Let's listen to it. If I don't do it slowly on tape, I'll do it again slowly for you now. But let's just see how I told it here. This is called active imagination, and I'll tell you from the start, it's called active imagination because it's active in two ways. Number one, you're asking your unconscious to send something up to you, up to your consciousness. And number two, when something comes up, you engage in a conversation with whatever comes up. If an object comes up, you personify it and have the conversation with that object. This is an activity actually that was created by the psychologist Carl Jung over 100 years ago. And his major idea was that the unconscious is very rich. Both the individual and the collective unconscious is rich with all sorts of material, and we should explore it and learn from it. Okay, here's active imagination.
Which
And you can. Did somebody ask something or say something?
I just wanted to know the name of the psychologist again that you did
Carl Jung.
Carl Jung. Carl Jung. Okay.
Yes, yes, from Switzerland. He and Sigmund Freud are known as the two founders of psychoanalysis. But the difference was that Freud was especially interested in how we're formed by our mother and father, and
Mm,
Carl Jung had a much broader approach, looking at all the cultural material in our unconscious from many different cultures, because we're exposed to so many different cultures. Okay, here we go. Imagine walking in a forest and try to activate your senses, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, smelling the different plants, and some of the plants are decomposing. The smell of that, and some leaves are smooth, some leaves are kind of fuzzy, some leaves are rough. So there's a sense of smell, there's a sense of touch as you're walking through the forest. And it's a cool environment because you're in the shade, and but now you come to a clearing, and actually you've come to the beach, and you look out, and you see the sky and the ocean and the sand, and it's so huge, the distance of the sky and the ocean, so huge, and you walk down to the sand's edge, and there's a small boat there, and you can imagine getting into it. It's a calm day, so there are no big waves. There's not a lot of wind. Oh, and you might really imagine the color of the ocean. Is it a pure blue, or is it a kind of greenish blue? Try to really visualize it. Okay, everything up to this point is just the warm-up to kind of activate your senses. The walking in the forest, the color of the ocean. What the activity is really about is looking down into the water, metaphorically speaking, and asking for something to come up. The water is a metaphor for your own unconscious, because you want to activate your senses, and you want to give a sense of reality. So you get in the boat and row out a little bit, and it's deep. Already it's deep. You look down, and you can't see the bottom. You can't see the ocean floor. And you can kind of playfully, poetically say to the ocean, "Oh, ocean, you are like my imagination. You are like my unconscious. Please send something up that I can learn from, that I can use in a story. Sometimes at night I ask you to send me a dream, and you send me a dream, and I learn from the dream. Now just send me an object, or an image of an object, or even a living creature, a living being. But if you send me an object, if an object comes to you from beneath, you want to pretend that you want to personify it. Pretend that it has eyes and a mouth, and then it has human consciousness and human language, whether Tamil or Hindi or English, and thank the object for coming. Or now the object is a character. So thank them for coming, and have a little conversation with whatever comes up. If something comes up that's not interesting, just let it come and go, and keep the space clear until something more interesting comes. But when something interesting comes, yes, it might ask you a question, or tell you something, or you might tell it or them something. So that is called active imagination. It was actually an activity developed by Carl Jung, a psychologist. Okay, so I really invite you and suggest you do that once a day. As I say, the walking in the forest part is optional. The rowing out into the deep water is optional. The point is the essence of it is looking down into the water, which is a metaphor for your own unconscious. A difference between psychology and religion religious cultures as opposed to psychology centric cultures. In religious cultures, many of them, the unconscious is related to the divine. And, poets in traditional cultures, many of them will call upon a god or goddess to help, a muse, M-U-S-E. That was a Greek goddess of creativity. So the poet, and in Tamil culture, before the Vilupattu performer begins, the Vilupattu performer addresses a certain divine figure and asks for inspiration. So whether the inspiration and the revelation is coming from your unconscious or from the divine, it's all good. It's all good. Take it however you see it. So if you want to address the ocean and you're unconscious, if you want to also address a certain aspect of divinity, go ahead. Okay, here we go. Who had great respect and interest for not just the individual unconscious, but for the collective unconscious. The material in your culture and other cultures that you knew about, how it's inside you and it can come up to your consciousness at times. So, and it's called active imagination because you're actively asking your imagination to send something up, and then you're actively having a conversation. You're interacting with what comes up. So what comes up might be a character in a story that you might want to flesh out and develop. Okay, that is active imagination. And now question-based story making. Okay, we're more than halfway through that video and more than halfway through this meeting. Does anyone have any thoughts about this active imagination activity I just presented? Comments, questions, or just any thoughts?
The only thought is I want to practice it.
Yeah, it's just about, to use metaphors, opening the window, opening the door to your unconscious without trying to manipulate it in any way. If you do have an idea that you want to build a story around, that's something else. Then you have to create the situation and put the character in that situation. But if you're not sure what you want to explore, just do these activities where you're opening the windows and inviting the wind to come in, the breeze. And
is it supposed to make you uncomfortable?
What would make us uncomfortable?
Is this process supposed to be uncomfortable? Because it makes me very uncomfortable to think about going into my unconscious.
Well, that's up to the individual.
This is the biggest project. This is the biggest challenge I've ever had in any storytelling class I've ever taken.
Well, I mean, why does it make you uncomfortable? Did exploring your life story make you uncomfortable?
No.
Oh, that's good. Well, you might think about why the idea of opening a door and a window to your unconscious, why it would make you uncomfortable.
Well, I'm going to work on it.
Yeah, be gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself.
Definitely.
If it really feels uncomfortable, stop it and do something else.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to definitely springboard off of something that I've done and see if I can make it fictitious, but I don't, going into my own unconscious is not comfortable.
But that's not right. Your unconscious should be your friend. Your unconscious should be a resource you can call upon.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm working on
if you feel your unconscious is angry or really, hurt or something, that's something to explore and to try to help your unconscious, recover. and heal and feel better. It's not good to live in fear of one's unconscious, or, right?
That's what my therapist says.
Yeah, you got to get to the bottom of it and try to fix things.
I'm working on it.
Okay, good. Wonderful.
Eric,
Huh?
Eric, I have a doubt.
Go ahead.
Are these made-up stories are always extension of life stories as a
They don't
general
have to be. This is just one method is to start with your life story.
Okay.
There's a very famous expression among writers, you write what you know.
Okay.
So if you know about relationships between husbands and wives, you'll naturally write stories about that, which will not be limited to your actual experience, but will be based on and inspired by aspects of your experience.
So what if I take a historical figure from the past, like Adolf Hitler, and create an alternative history about him, like him
Yes.
being projected as a good guy and who's saving some, he's doing good for the society. Like I know it would be very blasphemous kind of a thing, but these kind of a thing, like,
White lie, as Eric said.
yeah, white lies.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
explore it.
Explore it,
your journal about it. What are you getting at? What are you trying to do? What's your intention? What's your thinking about it?
Okay.
Explore what it's all about.
Yeah. Sure.
Again, keep in mind the distinction between giving a talk and telling a story, or creating a speech or an essay, as opposed to creating a story. When to give a speech or write an essay, you really are expressing your ideas and your suggestions. A story is more once removed because there's a character in that situation who's dealing with that situation, so it's not as straightforward. But you might begin by figuring out what you actually want to say about Adolf Hitler. If there's something you want to say about it, if something you want to explore about it.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Okay, my question here is, do we include all the aspects which you have just told us? Like, we should use the personification, we should use metaphors in your story. So should all these points be there?
No.
Or just
Any of them.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
play.
Okay. So it's not necessary that a story should have all these elements in it. No.
No, I'm just presenting options, possibilities.
Okay, got it.
Okay, let's go back to the video and I'll present this other imagination activity. Okay, there's Eric again. Imagine imagine it's daytime and you might still be in that boat, or you might be on land, you might be in a forest, you might be in a city. You can be any place, but it's daytime. And try to see the environment, whatever the environment is. Look around and see the details of it, and get a sense of the air quality. Is it very hot? Is it cold? Is it windy? Is the air still? Does the air smell sweet? How does the air smell and how does it feel? And is it hot or not hot? Then now that you have a landscape, whether city or country or wherever, pull back and see if a character might be there, if a character might walk into that scene, a human, an animal, anything. Invite someone, something to come into your scene. And if someone or something comes, notice What is the way they are moving? Are they moving in a smooth way or in a jerky way? What is their posture? It may be a group of people or a group of animals, but try to zero in on one individual and get a sense of the posture of the character, standing up straight or bent over, and the way the character is moving. And, male, female, or other. And how does the character's hair look? What clothing is the character wearing? And zoom in on the character's face. And you especially want to imagine the eyes and the mouth. And if you can do that, you can get a sense of how the character is feeling. How does the character seem to feel based on your vision of the character's eyes and mouth? Does the character seem to be calm or anxious about something? Do you have a sense of, does the character want something? Does the character want to go someplace? Does the character want to do something? For that matter, where has the character come from? You just imagine. And this character, where does the character live? Does the character live alone? Does the character live with others? What kind of living situation is the character in? But to get back to the character's face, if the character does seem to want something, then you can ask yourself or ask the character, what does the character want? And if you can get an answer from that, you have a story. Because once a character wants something, the balance of the story is going to be, does the character get it, not get it? What does the character have to do to try to get it? Does the character need money, friends, assistance of some sort? And so what will happen? Okay, that is question-based story making. A method really, as far as I can gather, especially founded by a drama therapist in England named Alida Gersey, who I've met. I've interviewed her. And originally this was called 6-part story making. But together we've expanded it into more than six parts. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now, and then maybe we can have a little conversation. Oh, okay. I've unmuted myself, and please, each of you, unmute yourselves. Any thoughts about this question-based story making?
I think what was the name of the lady? A 6-part storytelling you mentioned, Elita.
Here, I'll type it into the chat section. Just a second. Chat. They changed it, so I don't know who I'm sending it to. But okay, her name is Alida Gersey, and I can also send you the link to. I interviewed her. Yeah, I interviewed her in the Chennai Festival a couple of years ago, and I'll send you the link to our conversation. But see, both of these activities are involve inviting material to come from your unconscious into your consciousness. As a method of what? Exploration and creativity. That's all.
Is there a particular Jung that you would recommend we read?
Yeah, there's an essay that kind of summarizes his thinking. I'll send you the link to it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Would it also be possible to send this video that we just saw and heard just for us?
Yes, I think it's actually on YouTube.
It is there.
Yeah, I've already sent you the link to it. I'll send it.
Actually, you've sent it already.
Yeah, I'll send it again.
Did already? Okay, sorry. Thank you, guys.
I'll send it again. So yeah, so now we're going to just have final thoughts before we hang up. Have I left anything out about making up stories? It really it goes a wide range from just for fun to hiding the truth to exploring uncomfortable internal issues to to entertaining people. We can make up stories for lots of different reasons, for different situations. And also, you probably want to think about, is the story you're making up, is it for children? Is it for adults? Is it ideally something that should be told? Is it something that should be read? Is it something that should be in a movie? I've made up a story for a movie, Words from the Forest. But the problem with that is you have to try to get it produced. But the advantage of it is once it gets produced, it's there forever, as long as human civilization lasts, which may not be too long. But different different mediums have different advantages and disadvantages. Just speaking is easy, but unless it's recorded and put on YouTube, it comes and goes very quickly. But a book, it's a lot of work to make a book, but once you've made it, it's there for a long time. People can access it. So think about the story that you want to create. What's the ideal method of presentation, and what's the ideal audience?
I have one more question. I'm a bit confused about the whole thing. Like we are going to next session. We are each going to tell one made up story, right?
Yes, that's right.
And as far as the 3 stories that we need to have a one-on-one with you and present, I mean, I think this is what I think, that all the 3 stories that we have as a one-on-one with you are going to be presented at one time slot that we pick or agree upon with you.
That's right.
All 3 stories will be presented at the same time. And can all of those 3 be, because we've already done a personal story here, we've already done a folktale here, and we're going to do a made-up story here, right? Yeah. So we have all the 3 genres any which ways. So can we be presenting just...
I think I said let one of the stories be something you've told to the group, but let 2 of the stories be stories that you haven't told to the group.
Completely new. Okay.
So in other words, if you make up a story now, you can tell it in a regular session in a few weeks, and it can also be one of the 3 stories that you tell me privately.
Okay. And when do we start getting dates with you for that one-on-ones already?
Well, as soon as you're ready to tell me 3 stories, just contact me privately.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Sorry for...
Sure.
And how many minutes do we have for this make-up story, sort of? Like each of us? Are we going to have sessions again? Are we going to have Saturday and Sunday again blocked, or just one week, one day, or how is it going?
No, this is Saturday and Sunday. September. Okay. What is it? What is it? 13th and 14th. Certainly under 10 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes. Yeah. Between 5 and 10 minutes. And let there be some twists and turns, ups and downs. I've talked about the all is lost moment. It's always good to have an all is lost moment. That makes adventure. That makes drama. That gets our blood, our adrenaline flowing to hear that in a story where things are going well, but then there's some difficulties come up. All right. Any other thoughts? All right. So just play with it.
Okay.
Just play with it, and see if you're thinking of writing a novel, and this will be the summary of a novel, or if you just like to make up a story for children. or like me, you want to make up a story for a movie, just let's see. My story that I've made, and I've written it as a movie. I've written the script. It's about a group of teenagers from New York City who come to visit some tribal people here in South India, and the visitors learn about a particular flower that has a very strong medicine. And together with the tribal people, they help many people with that flower. Well, that story is a fantasy version of my life. My actual life is I did field work with tribal people in southern Tamil Nadu. I ended up studying children's songs and games and how those games help children learn spoken language. In my fantasy, it's a flower that has a very powerful medicine that. So that's the difference between the reality and the fantasy in my case. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so just play with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, should we say goodbye for now? And okay, now we're stopping recording. We recorded just for the Anjira and Anjana, who was not here. I think everyone else is. Oh, there's one other person who's not here.
Lata?
Uma? No, Uma is here.
Uma is there. Lata Anand, I think.
Lata, yeah.
Lata, yeah, Lata's not here. She's not here now. Okay, so I'm not putting this on. Okay, I'm stopping recording.